Now, picture yourself standing under the glow of a moonbow. Ain't another one like it in the whole Western Hemisphere. The roar of Cumberland Falls fills the night air, and the mist wraps around you, soft and ghostly, like something otherworldly. For a moment, your breath's just plain took away by all that natural beauty, but then something don't feel quite right. A chill creeps up your back, and you hear a whisper, low and faint, like the wind, but maybe it's something else. Could it be just the breeze, or could it be something haunting the hollers here? Tonight, we're digging deep into the ghostly secrets of Cumberland Falls. Now listen up, y'all. We're heading down to a spot deep in southeastern Kentucky, tucked away in the hills where nature and mystery collide. They call it Cumberland Falls, but folks around here like to call it the Niagara of the South. This ain't just any old waterfall, no sir. It's a place brimming with history, beauty, and more'n a few ghostly tales. So grab your coffee or something stronger and settle in for a tale that'll send chills crawling up your spine. Long before the pioneers and settlers rolled through, this land was sacred to the Cherokee and other Native American tribes. The falls weren't just pretty scenery to them. They were holy ground. Artifacts dug up in these parts tell us the area was used for all sorts of purposes, ceremonies, meeting places, and maybe even burials. Makes you wonder if some of them spirits ain't still lingering nearby, watching over what's theirs. Come the 20th century, folks realized just how special this place was and turned it into a state park, so future generations could enjoy its splendor. Tourists started pouring in, drawn not only by the thundering cascade of water but also by something rare and magical, the Moonbow. This here is one of the only places in the world where moonlight creates a rainbow in the mist, lighting up the night sky like something out of a dream. But y'all know how it goes. Where there's beauty, there's usually something darker lurking in the shadows. Cumberland Falls ain't no exception. Now, let me tell y'all about the saddest and most haunting tale ever to come out of these parts. The legend of the Ghost Bride. It's a story that's been whispered around campfires and in the hollers since way back in the 1950s, and it'll chill you right to the bone. It all started with a young couple, freshly hitched and looking for a bit of peace and romance. They chose Cumberland Falls for their honeymoon, probably thought it was the perfect place to start their life together. And why wouldn't they? The falls, thundering down like a force of nature, the mist rising up like a dream, and that magical moonbow lighting up the night sky. It must have felt like they were standing on the edge of paradise. But that paradise didn't last long. One evening, while they were taking a romantic stroll along the cliffs, something went terribly wrong. Maybe she slipped on the wet rock, or maybe the mist made it hard to see. No one knows for sure. But the bride, in all her wedding finery, lost her balance and tumbled off the edge. The water below's fast and wild, churning like the devil himself's in there. She didn't stand a chance. Her groom, bless his heart, was so overcome with grief that he didn't even try to go on without her. They say he stood there for a moment looking down at the falls, and then he leapt after her, letting the waters take him too. 2 young lives gone in an instant, their love story cut short by tragedy. Now, that'd be a sad enough tale on its own, but here's where it gets downright eerie. Not long after their deaths, folks started reporting strange things up near the falls. Visitors and park workers alike have seen a woman in a wedding dress, pale as moonlight, wandering along the cliffs. Her veil floats behind her, like it's caught in the mist. She walks slow, like she's looking for something, or someone, and then, just as sudden as she appeared, she vanishes into thin air. And it ain't just up by the cliffs where she's been seen. Late at night, drivers going through the park have slammed on their brakes, thinking there's a woman in white standing right in the middle of the road. But when they get out to look, there's nothing there. Some of them folks swear they heard the faint sound of rushing water, even though the falls are miles away. It's like she's everywhere and nowhere all at once. What's even stranger is how her appearances seem tied to the moonbow. You know, that rare rainbow that shows up in the mist under a full moon. They say she's drawn to it, like the light calls her out from wherever spirits go. Maybe she's trying to find her way back to her groom, or maybe the beauty of the moonbow reminds her of the love she lost. Whatever it is, folks who've seen her under that magical light say it's something they'll never forget. So, if you're ever out at Cumberland Falls after dark and the moonbow's glowing, keep an eye out. You just might catch a glimpse of the ghost bride wandering the cliffs, her love and her sorrow etched into the mist and stone forever. Now, let me tell you, that moonbow ain't just something to see. It's something that sticks with you. Folks come from all over the world to catch a glimpse of it, and I can see why. The mist from Cumberland Falls rises up, catching the moonlight just so, and there it is, a rainbow stretching across the night sky, glowing soft and otherworldly. It's like something straight out of a dream. But let me tell you something else. There's more to that moonbow than meets the eye. It ain't just a pretty picture, no sir. There's an air to it, something that stirs the soul and sends a shiver down your spine, like the whole world's holding its breath. You stand there, watching the colors shimmer in the mist, and it's like time stops. But then, you notice something else, the silence. The kind that ain't natural. The roar of the falls is still there, but underneath it, everything feels off. Visitors have talked about a chill settling over 'em as soon as the moonbow appears, like the air itself gets colder, heavier. Some say it's like something's watching 'em from the shadows, though they can't never see who or what it is. And them lights. Oh, the stories folks tell about the lights. Orbs, they call 'em. Little balls of glowing light that flicker and dance near the falls. They're not lanterns or flashlights, neither. They float, almost playful-like, and then they're gone in the blink of an eye, like they was never there to begin with. Locals say those lights are spirits, wandering close to the moonbow, drawn to its glow like moths to a flame. Now, some folks reckon the moonbow's more than just a natural wonder. They believe it's a bridge between worlds, a doorway that lets the spirits cross over from wherever they're resting. It makes you wonder, don't it? Could that be why the ghost bride always shows up when the moonbow's out? Maybe she's searching for her love, hoping the moonbow'll guide her to him. Or maybe she's tied to it somehow, like the rainbow's light pulls her back to where it all ended. And it ain't just her. Plenty of visitors have felt that strange heaviness under the moonbow's glow. Hikers say the trails near the falls feel different, like they're walking through something unseen. Some heard whispers, soft and faint like voices carried on the mist. Others have felt a hand on their shoulder, gentle but cold as stone, only to turn round and find nothing there. The old-timers round here'll tell you the moonbow's something special, all right, but it ain't just for looking. It's got a power to it, a draw that goes beyond the physical. They say it's a beacon calling to the spirits, reminding them of something they lost or something they're still looking for. It's why so many of the strange sightings and hauntings happen when the moonbow's out. So next time you're lucky enough to see that moonbow, take it all in, but don't get too comfortable. Keep one eye on the beauty and the other on the shadow, 'cause you never know who or what might be crossing over to join you. Now let me tell y'all, it ain't just the ghost bride or that moonbow that's got folks feeling uneasy round Cumberland Falls. Nope, there's plenty more to send shivers crawling down your back. If you ever get the chance to stay at the Dupont Lodge, you'll see what I mean. Now, this here lodge sits up high, giving you a perfect view of the falls and all the beauty of the park. But let me warn you, beauty ain't the only thing lurking there. Guests who've laid their heads down for the night have woken up in a cold sweat, swearing they felt something heavy setting on the edge of their bed. When they reach for the lamp or whip around to see what it is, nothing. Not a soul, but that icy chill, it lingers, like whoever or whatever was there ain't gone too far. Some folks even report hearing faint whispers in the dead of night, soft as a breeze, but with no way to make out what's being said. And it don't stop there. The hallways in that lodge, they echo with footsteps when there ain't no one walking. Doors creak open like they've been nudged by invisible hands, and the staff will tell you they've heard their fair share of eerie laughs coming from empty rooms. It's like the walls themselves got stories they're trying to tell, but you might not want to hear 'em. Now, if the lodge don't spook you enough, just step outside and hit the trails. Plenty of hikers have come back with tales that'll make the hairs on your arms stand straight up. They talk about shadowy figures darting between the trees, moving too fast to be regular folks, but too solid-looking in to be just shadows. Some swear they've caught glimpses of something standing still, watching from the tree line, only for it to vanish the second they blink. The fishermen, they got their own eerie tales to tell. While they're sitting there along the river, rod in hand, trying to catch supper, they'll sometimes hear whispers carried on the wind. It ain't the kind of whispers you'd expect from rustling leaves or the water flowing. No, sir, these whispers sound human, low and breathy, like someone's trying to tell them something but just can't quite get the words out. Some of the braver ones have gone searching for the source, but they always come up empty-handed. Then there's the strangest thing of all, the silence. Now, anyone who's spent time in the woods will tell you the forest ain't never truly quiet. There's always the chirp of crickets, the hoot of an owl, or the rustle of leaves. But sometimes, in the gorge, it goes dead quiet. Not a sound to be heard, like the whole world's holding its breath. That's when folks say they feel it, the sense that they're not alone. It's like the shadows are watching, waiting, and you'd best keep moving before they decide to make themselves known. So is it just the sound of the falls playing tricks on folks' ears, or something that refuses to rest, lingering in the mists and shadows of Cumberland Falls? If you ever find yourself wandering these parts, keep your wits about you. You never know what or who might be out there watching you from the dark. So, what do y'all reckon? Could the ghost bride still be wandering them cliffs, searching for the love she lost in the falls? Or maybe she's drawn to that moonbow like it's got some kind of power to pull her spirit back. And speaking of the moonbow, do you think it's just nature showing off, or could it be something more? A doorway to the other side, maybe? A bridge where spirits can cross over? And what about them whispers folks here by the river? Do you think it's just the wind carrying sounds from the falls, or something trying to reach out, trying to be heard? And them shadowy figures darting between the trees, what's their story? Could they be spirits tied to the land or something darker, something folks weren't meant to see? If you've ever been to Cumberland Falls, we'd love to hear your tales. Did you feel that chill in the air, like someone or something was watching you? Did you hear whispers, see lights, or catch a glimpse of the ghost bride herself? Go on and drop us a comment below. We want to know, what did you feel, see, or hear out there in them woods? And do you believe it's all just tall tales or the real deal? Well, thank you kindly for joining us here on Kentucky Melody, where we dive headfirst into the beauty, mystery, and downright spine-tingling tales that make this state so special. Round these parts, the line between the living and the dead can get mighty blurry, and I reckon Cumberland Falls proves that better than just about anywhere. Now, don't y'all forget to like this video, hit that subscribe button, and ring that bell so you'll always know when we've got another story to share, whether it's about haunting hollers, ghostly brides, or critters that'll make you think twice about taking a walk in the woods. And next time y'all find yourselves standing at the edge of Cumberland Falls, taking in all that natural beauty, remember to admire the view, but don't let them shadows fool you. Keep an eye out, 'cause you never know who or what might be watching you back. Y'all take care now, and we'll see you in the next one. If the ghost bride don't hitch a ride home with you first, stay safe, stay curious, and don't go poking around too deep in them woods after dark.